So whether you're an old hand in the climate security space or new to the field and just starting to explore it, you're in the right place.
The climate is changing, accelerating faster than we can adapt to it, and that's why these resilience strategies that we're focused on today are so paramount, because that's the way we're going to help our own societies here at home. And the devastation we've seen just in the last week from Hurricane Helene, unprecedented levels of destruction in areas that were maybe thought to be climate havens, and we know now that there are no climate havens anywhere.
Climate change is leading to disputes that exacerbate regional instability and in cases can challenge U.S. interests as well.
The underlying conditions in the Middle East very much make it an issue that requires the government to cross-pollinate across sectors. They don't have a choice, particularly when it comes to water, for example, because we're seeing water scarcity across the board. As you mentioned in your book, Peter, this is something that's impacting local communities that don't have any kind of communication channels with the central government.
What I've found rather striking in many of the conflict climate settings that I work in is that there's not considerably more violence than there actually is. And the takeaway from that is that if you grant people the tools and the mechanisms to actually resolve their difficulties, no matter how much circumstances are sort of pitching them against one another, no matter how much officials are often pitching them against one another, then they will often seize upon them. So when we talk about climate-related security risks, it's almost always a marriage of, kind of a very unhappy marriage of climate stresses and poor quality governance. And so given the difficulty, particularly at the level of many of these sort of poorer countries with their insufficient budgets, is this a temptation to say, well, we need to bolster governance?
These are small steps, but one at a time, I think they will really add up to the kinds of change that we need to see and that we're mandated to see under the new, under our law, the Global Fragility Act that we're implementing, but also under this new White House framework.
I mean, I think if you look in the news over just the past month, whether it's North Carolina or Poland or Nepal or Nigeria, right, we've had flooding disasters amplified by climate change that have cost hundreds of lives, billions of dollars, right? Militaries have been deployed in each of these places to respond to the hazards, and as Peter was mentioning, these kinds of disasters are undermining governance legitimacy, right, in a way that is really challenging states going forward.